Oh, come here.
Hello, everyone.
It's the cat live stream. Reading with cat.
Look, you have competition.
Rich's cat and my cat are almost twins, both tuxedos.
Yeah.
They're fancy today in their tuxedos.
Aww.
It's not so scary if there's 3 of you, right?
Yeah, she just woke up from a nap. She's cranky.
Relatable.
To be fair, I'm the one that woke her up, so.
How dare you?
Now we get to listen to Rose chirp all stream.
Yeah.
Perfect. She's just telling us what she's reading. It's fine.
There we go.
Yes. Thank you for starting the ball rolling. How about you, Rich? What will you be reading today?
Anybody want to guess? I am like on chapter 76 of Wind and Truth or something like that.
Impressive.
Truly.
And what is that, like, halfway? Is it farther
It's
than
about
half?
halfway. Yeah, it's slightly past halfway.
Merry holidays all. I like that.
Yes.
That's what
can't
I'm
believe-
starting today. I haven't started it yet.
Oh, nice. So we get to listen to your prologue head explosions.
I'm really excited for the prologue.
That sounds really intense.
Yeah, it really does. If there's a mess, it's going to be because my head exploded. Sorry, guys. Christy's about to get demonetized.
Oh my gosh.
Next time it'll be on your channel. Revenge.
Okay.
I won't be hosting these again.
Oh my gosh.
That's exciting. Okay. How about you, Stephanie? What are you reading?
I'm waiting until January to start that one.
Hmm.
So I've been struggling with reading. So I decided to go with a reread. So I'm going to listen to The Hobbit
Oh,
and
perfect.
Circus. So
Oh,
Oh,
it's been a year. So it's time.
yeah, it was last year, wasn't it?
It was.
December. We read it
And
together.
this one's got the illustrations and the map. So I was like, if nothing else, I can look at the pretty pictures.
There you go.
Hey,
I read it
Penny.
last December and then again this fall with my British Lit class. So I read it twice in a year.
Yeah, it really sucks because like I'm really behind on the Heir of Redcliffe and I'm really loving it, but I'm struggling to pick up physical books. And the narrator is not great.
Is it a LibreVox narrator?
It is. So I have to be like in the mood to commit.
That's fair.
Which I say that because Penny's also reading this. And I'm 1,200, not even kidding, messages behind in Voxer.
Oh no.
That's a jump from last weekend when we talked about this. I think it was like 780 and now
It
it's
was.
1,200.
It was.
God.
It sounds like somebody's enjoying it.
They're very much enjoying it.
One person, 1,200 messages.
Penny,
Like,
calling you out.
We're never inviting them back again.
Oh, so Penny is making lunch and then she will read when we read.
Ooh, what's for lunch, Penny? Tell us what's for lunch.
Yes.
well, apparently it's good. Either that or Stephanie's book is good. One or the other.
I think it was the Heir of Redcliffe, but hopefully lunch is amazing as well.
Yeah, it could be both.
Oh, fun.
Cool. Excellent.
So, Christy, what are you reading?
I am 47% into Oathbringer. So I will be continuing with that. I'm making progress, finally. Now that we're done with Mist Along, I'm finally making progress again.
So now it's a race with you and Victoria.
Yes. Yes, I'm going to beat her.
Which
I don't
book is Victoria on? Do you know?
She is
She's
starting Warbreaker because she's never read it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, she's
for
taking a
her.
break. And then
Mhm.
she's between, she just finished Wave Kings.
Oh, okay.
And then she's decided to switch to Warbreaker.
Okay.
Mhm.
Warbreaker
That's a good
is
choice.
nice when you want to be like, okay, I want to feel like I can actually finish a book in a timely manner. Warbreaker is
Yes.
great.
Well, and it's a good book.
It
and
is.
It connects to Stormlight too, so it's almost
does.
like having a Stormlight novella, because it's about as long as the Stormlight novella.
It is.
That's so true. Oh, ooh, leftovers taken.
Yeah.
Slightly longer than a Stormlight prologue.
Yes.
Prologue that long in this one? So I won't
The
get through it in the
audiobook's
first
an
time.
hour. It's a longer.
Okay, so it's not Wheel of Time length, but it's long for a Sanderson.
Oh.
It's up there with some of the real time prologues,
Okay.
but yeah, it's not. Yeah,
A Memory of Light prologue,
no, it's not like a book like the epilogue.
right?
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought. It says it's like 22 pages.
Oh,
I
that's
thought it
not
was going to be a lot worse than that.
Yeah, it's not like Scouring the Shire.
bad. Okay.
I just heard from Michael Nip that he just finished The Wheel of Time. And I was like, bravo.
yeah.
Oh, wow, because I think he and I started it around the same time.
Oh,
Because at one point we were on the same book.
Really?
Good for him.
well, he put it down for a while, and then he
Yeah.
picked it up, and it sounded like at that point he was reading. I was only hearing bits and pieces, but
What a journey.
Yeah.
yeah.
A journey
One
on
thing-
Now you can get it. So Stephanie, you get the leather bounds.
leather bound.
I saw that. No, I'm sure they'll be beautiful. And I'm very happy for those that are excited about it. But I unfortunately don't love it enough to spend that much money for 15 volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like a $3,000 bookshelf.
I know. I was
Quite a
excited to
commitment.
see they were including New Spring, though, because I really, really like that one.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was nice. But then
I
it
just know
said it
it'll
was
be-
one a year.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is going to be a long-term commitment.
So I guess at least you don't have to drop all that money all at once.
Yeah, that makes it. They space it out so people will actually be able to afford it.
Yeah. And
That's
I'm
kinda
sure they'll
nice.
be gorgeous.
Oh, I'm
They're
sure.
supposed to be doing art and everything.
Oh.
They know that if people saw the price of all 15 books together, the sticker shock would be
We should not have to take out a mortgage on our house to get books, kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Playing
that
chess.
sounds like a lovely way to spend your
Ooh.
Saturday.
Yes.
That does
sound-
Yeah.
stimulating.
yes.
Rose sounds excited. She'll play chess with you.
She's
Little
brilliant.
pieces. Yeah, she'd be happy to bat those around.
Yep. She'll get your king, but maybe not the way of the rules of the game, but she'll get it off the board.
Emily's here. Hi,
Hi.
Howdy.
So since we've been talking food, what's going to be in the crock pot? I want to know what everyone's eating today.
I mean, if you mention food, you have to say what it is.
I know.
Everybody wants to know.
It's obligatory. We're talking about brownies before we went live. I mean, it's a foodie day. It's Christmas, so.
It is.
Cool.
Oh, there are birds.
I know. I was really like, oh, I can hear them. I can hear the birds, I think.
Well, I think it's Lucy doing that like thing.
Okay.
That's my Lucy impression. My cats do it too.
Yeah. I think they just mess with her.
That's hilarious.
Ooh, chicken and dumplings in the crock pot.
Ooh.
That is perfect for cold weather.
Yeah, well, better to restock after Christmas than before.
Yes.
Very true.
Do all the work ahead of time.
Yep.
It's like,
Smart
what is
lady,
that?
Emily.
What is it in the grasshopper?
What?
The fable. It's somebody in the grasshopper.
Oh, the ant? The ant in the
Yes.
grasshopper, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of them like stored everything and one of them didn't.
I thought you were talking about eating grasshoppers. I'm like, what the heck are you saying?
Oh no.
Yeah. I think
How
it was
desperate
the
are
ants-
you?
Not
The ants
not this
prepare
year.
and the grasshopper just
Not
eats.
this year. Next year, maybe. 2025 is the year of eating bugs on live streams.
More protein. We're being healthier.
Woo, lean protein.
Oh my gosh.
bugs instead of mukbangs.
Mukbang. ASMR crunching. No thanks.
Oh my god.
Like that.
It's so crushing.
I hate it anyway, but I would hate it even more with bugs. I can't
Oh,
stand
that
the sound
would
of
be
people
awful.
eating. I'm just
Listen to
like,
that exoskeleton. Yum yum.
tap on it with your finger.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Oh.
Hmm.
Our Asian food market in town has a ton of like bugs that you can buy to eat, including
Yeah.
whole tarantulas. I'm like,
See,
no,
I
thank
can
you. And Peter's like, I want to get one of these. I'm like, no.
No.
They're like $25. Like, no, for you to be disgusted and me to not want to come near you for days. No.
I can understand why people eat bugs in other parts of the world. That's just a normal thing. I do not understand eating spiders.
No.
I know.
I can't. Especially tarantulas. They're hairy. Just
They'd be very juicy. I mean, these ones aren't.
you
They're
like
dried
shave
out.
their
but-
little legs before you eat them. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Shave their legs.
You'd have
So we
little
started
tarantula
off-
hairs in your teeth.
Yeah, you got something in your teeth.
Ew.
So we started off with crock pots and brownies, and we've made our way to tarantula hairs and picking them out of our teeth.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is my
I'm a
fault.
little
All of
sleep
it.
deprived today. I'm sorry.
No, it's
How
my
much
fault.
was it?
I thought you were talking about eating grasshoppers. I brought up the tarantulas.
Sorry. My bad.
It's my fault. I did it.
It's fine.
Take
We're
full
all fine.
responsibility.
This seems like the perfect time to start with a sprint.
It does. Let's cleanse our minds by reading, shall we? This
Christy's
is why
like,
we read
children
escapism.
behave.
Yeah. Escape to a book. Hopefully
How
there's
long
no
should
bug
we-
eating in Wind and Truth.
Oh, she's like, did somebody say bugs?
Like, I can take care of that.
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't even like chasing them so much.
Oh, really? My cats will eat them. They'll eat spiders that they find in the house, and I'm like, God bless you.
I wish
Love
Lucy
you.
would eat spiders. My cats just always stared at him like, this is your job. So rude.
I think Giselle would do that, and she's my Lucy. She's
Yeah.
the queen of the house, so. But the other ones take care
Oliver
of it.
did that too.
It's funny.
Weird.
That's such a queen name, Giselle.
It
Well, she's
is.
named after a princess. So yeah, a princess
makes
from a
sense.
Disney movie that Claire loved when she was like 3 years old, and that's when we got her.
What
But she
movie is
couldn't say it
that?
right, so she called her Wassail.
What's that?
It's from Enchanted,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
where she's like a cartoon, and then she comes to real life. And
Wow,
it's
that's
Amy
a
Adams.
throwback.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Claire
thank
loved
you.
that
I forgot
movie.
about that one.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
That
love
was
it.
a throwback
You're welcome.
to my middle school days. Well, how long should we sprint today to start off with?
3
do
hours.
like 3 hours. We just need to read. Everybody just
I've
wants
got like
to.
another 35 hours of books, so it's all.
You're like, that's fine.
It's not going to change anything.
Weekend
for me.
sprint. There you go. It can be a charity sprint for the weekend.
Charity sprint.
Let it roll all
I
day.
know. Like Alan's 9-hour sprints or whatever it was. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Nicole does that too from Noteworthy Fiction. She'll sprint from 9
Mm.
a.m. to 9 p.m. every Monday.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I'm like, I'm impressed. I would be.
Well,
exhausted.
didn't Andy Serkis do that during COVID too? He read The Hobbit for charity for like 11 hours.
I don't remember, but he might have.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think that's what got him into the deal to narrate all the books, was him doing that on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Oh, I didn't realize it was so recently that he did the narration for those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
A good thing that came out of COVID.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because, man, I love those audiobooks. They're the best.
I know. There's
I say Storm Along 2020 came out of COVID.
It did.
that
That's
too.
so true. It never would have happened if we had tried to do it first in 2024. Everybody would have been like, sorry, I'm too busy. I am burned out. I cannot do that.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Should we start off with like have an hour?
Yeah,
Sure.
that sounds good.
Okay. I feel like we can all get down with a long sprint.
Yes.
We'll get back on track and behave when we come back.
No promises on my end.
Hey, this is what makes live streams fun. It's just like, what? Oh, hang on. Ah.
Yeah, I knew
Wow.
that. I knew that, but still, like, even if it's productivity sprints and other things, it's still
Just to
all
deal
day.
with
It's still a
that.
lot.
That's awesome.
It's impressive. It's on your mind. If you have a stream going, even if you run into the kitchen for a snack, you're like, I gotta get back to the stream.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
welcome.
Hi, Lisa.
You're just in time. We're just about to sprint.
Let us know in the comments what you're making because we've been talking about food.
Yes, and what you're reading. If you're reading. If you're
Since
not
it's
reading,
a
that's
reading sprint.
It just has to have fewer than 8 legs.
okay.
Yes.
Yes. Please
Yeah.
tell me you're not eating bugs. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
Don't go back and watch this live stream. Don't do it.
Except for the first minute. The cats were cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
They have 4 legs.
I'm gonna have to go back and edit that
We're not
out.
eating them.
Or
None
else
of us
I'll
live
have
in
to
Ohio, right? Okay. Too soon? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be on here today.
No, Rose, she didn't mean it.
I said we're not. We're not.
Okay.
With a few crickets. Just kidding.
I'm
sorry,
going to have to
Christy.
put trigger warnings on this live
I'm
stream
sorry, Christy.
for cat lovers and arachnophobia.
Oh, goodness.
All right, let's do it.
took a few steps on his own, and then his eyes wide, did a short skip. Eleanor knew that
Welcome back. Good job, Emily. That's productive.
Nice.
What? How'd you do, Stephanie?
Good. I'm into chapter 2. So
Oh, nice.
Bilbo's about to go on an adventure.
It's so cozy.
Yeah.
How about you, Tiffany? How'd you do?
I'm almost done with the prologue. I have like a paragraph left.
Oh, nice. Well, that's impressive. You read it, something that the audiobook took an hour to read in like half an hour.
Yes.
How about you, Rich?
Got through like 2/3 of a chapter, so a lot going on. It was interesting, a lot to think about.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I know it's
Just
hard.
the
Tiffany
prologue,
still
I'm like,
hasn't-
ooh.
Tiffany did have to turn off her cam for a second. That was probably to wipe the brains off of the lens. Or
Yeah, it was. I was trying to be nice, you know. I didn't want Christy to be demonetized.
It
very
shocked me so
considerate.
much. I accidentally turned on my mic instead of my camera. Hey, JoJo's here.
Hi. Oh, I just read that like last week.
Nice.
You guys are on this
Good one.
Yeah, it's fun. I liked it.
Nice. Andy Catlett.
I haven't
Is
heard
that-
of that one.
I know, me neither. Is that part of Port William?
I think all of his fictional works are. I think.
Are they?
Mhm. Could be
It
wrong.
were his short stories?
All the short stories I read were still connected to it.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh no!
I was like, you went on an adventure.
How painful.
That is super sad. I hope that you found one.
Yeah, it's probably. I haven't been in a bookstore in a while, but I'm sure there's a whole shelf full of them.
I want to know more about this, Mimi. Just the title.
Yeah, that
I
title was
am-
an interesting one.
So intrigued.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I
it's
hear.
hilarious. I laughed out loud a couple of times with that one.
Ooh, nice.
Good job.
Well done.
Oh, it's
Okay.
a Christmas book. Okay.
I would not have guessed that by the title. But penguins, I guess, are
Yeah, cold,
Yeah.
wintry.
creatures. Oh, good. I'm glad you got one.
Whew.
So maybe you'll get a surprise second copy at some point.
Maybe you made a Brandon Sanderson convert to whoever is keeping your book.
Right? They tried a few pages and they're like, this
I
is not
love this.
Right.
I'm not
Postal
mailing this
worker.
on. I gotta know what happens next.
Well, they stole it. Then they started reading the prologue, and after their head exploded, they could no longer deliver the book.
That's what it was. That makes
It's
sense. It's
effective.
all coming together.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It has a great first line. I was like, oh man, Sanderson in his first lines. It's really good.
Now I
What do
gotta
you
remember what
think?
the first line.
I can look at it really quick. It's not spoilery to tell you. Gavilar Colin was on the verge of immortality. He merely had to find the right words. I'm like, man, that's such a good first sentence. Even if you don't know anything about Stormlight, like that's so intriguing, and you just want to know more. You know, like that's a good hook.
It is.
Yes. Ooh, that's
Yes.
exciting.
Mhm.
What do you think of the prologue? In
I
general?
like it so far. It's I wasn't expecting that to be the perspective we had in this prologue, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
And coming off the Lost Metal, there's stuff that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I know you.
Wow. That's exciting. I'm really
I could
excited.
say about more than one character in that prologue.
Yeah, I know, but there was one in particular that I was like, oh.
Mm.
Oh, and so it's Christmassy too. Nice.
That is
So
nice.
cozy. I love Wendellberry so much. I need more Wendellberry in my life. He's good. I like him. He feels especially relevant since I live in Kentucky. So him writing about rural Kentucky feels very much like where I live. So
Right.
it really suits my life right now. I think I would have liked him anyway, but I think I like him even more because of that.
It does sound wintry.
Mhm.
Well, when he was 9. So it's another childhood story. Interesting. Nathan Coulter also starts when Nathan is a kid. And I guess
Oh, does it? I haven't read
Hannah
that.
Coulter does too, but I feel like she's older. She's like is she like a teenager? I can't remember now.
Penny would know. She did just read it.
Penny would know. Ah,
That'll work.
that's really
I'm
nice.
glad they gave you a replacement copy. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
didn't spoil
sure.
anything. Don't worry, Emily. I didn't. That was
Yeah.
not a spoiler.
But
There's a
I
lot
have
of
to thank
characters. It's just
I have to thank Emily for pointing that out, actually, only because when you said the Lost Metal, my brain heard Rhythm of War.
Oh,
And actually both books, well, obviously Rhythm of War has a connection to Winds and Truth, but yeah.
good.
Okay,
What?
so you were thinking of a
That's
different. Now I know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean there was a lot in that prologue going on.
It's just fun. Like, and like just Cosmere connections are fun. I like it.
it is really fun. It really feels like Super Smash Brothers or Avengers or something when like characters from different series start popping into the like in the same place. It's like, what? This is cool.
What are you
It
doing
works
here?
so far it works well in Stormlight because it's not been in an obnoxious way, like a distracting way.
Yeah.
Lost Metal, as I said, I kind of had mixed feelings the first read, but when I reread it, I actually thought it worked well.
I liked it on a first read, so.
I loved it.
Better taste than me. What a guy.
Okay. Oh, okay. So she was narrating her life starting when I guess things get interesting for outside observers.
Things get interesting for us.
Yeah. If you start when you're a baby and you narrate everything from there, it would be probably not that interesting.
Right.
And who remembers when they were an infant anyway? I don't
Very
trust people that
true.
say that they do. Like, no,
That's true. Kevin remembers stuff when he's pretty young, but I don't think infant.
Yeah.
That doesn't. I think so. Wow. You are the resident Wendellberry expert. I don't know anybody else who's read that many.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Yes. You got some good stuff ahead of you, Emily. And some good stuff right where you are right now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take your time. It'll be a couple more years before we get any more. So.
Yeah. We've got time.
Mhm.
I am just itching to get to reread Elantris. I really want to reread it, so I'm motivated to finish Stormlight so I can start Elantris.
Which will get you ready
Victoria
for
just sent that
Elantris
to me.
2 and 3.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Although I think that's even later. So that's like 5 years off Elantris. It's like on his roadmap now, but it's not soon.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Warbreaker ones coming out sooner? Is that what he was doing? I can't remember.
No, Elantris before that, I think.
Okay.
And actually, what was interesting, he actually started talking about like his Hollywood production stuff, that was probably the biggest news. Apparently, there was they almost made a TV show for The Emperor's Soul.
I saw that.
Really?
That would have been so cool.
That would be
Apparently, he even wrote up a screenplay and everything. It almost happened.
The jerks.
What a loss.
Mm-hmm.
You had time to write up a screenplay in the midst of writing all this other stuff.
How?
Like, do you ever go outside? Like, what do you do?
Well, you've seen his vlogs,
Yes.
like from in Hawaii,
Yeah.
while he's writing outside.
I know. Sometimes I watch vlogs of people that it's basically like them in their office working on a computer. I'm like, that is probably what their life is like, but it's not like great vlog material.
It's not entertaining. It's amazing, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah, well, then there's like when Sanderson's talking and explain what's going on, but while he's talking, like you see people bringing stacks of books for him to sign. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm having a nice day, and we're working on this and I'm working on that," and it's like,
Yeah.
it's like you see an assistant on each side, so he like signs, next sign, next sign, next sign, next.
I've seen some people do like reels, like imitating him, and it's hilarious because they're always talking and signing at the same time.
And some random third parties just like stacks of
Yeah.
the conveyor belt. Oh my goodness.
He's gonna end up with tendonitis, that repetitive motion from signing books.
Yeah. Well, what he commented about Elantris is he felt it was I think the later Elantris books were the only things he had written before Mistborn that he feels are publishable. Like if he cleans them up. I think that was his comment.
So they're already
about
written.
that.
He's just like reworking them a little bit.
Yeah, or at least outlined or something.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that they're in the form of books, but because that's true. Because if you like look at any of this stuff, like I did not read Way of Kings Prime, and apparently he's released a Dragonsteel Prime, which I probably should learn about. But Bookborn did a nice summary of Way of Kings Prime. It's just like it's like alternate universe Stormlight, because it's just like there's so much that's different.
Interesting.
I mean, it's just like some of the names are the same, but there's just so much that's different.
I feel like Way of Kings feels like a book that has been rewritten so many times because it's like, to me, a perfect book. Like, it's like, it's so tight. It is like so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that
That's
might be the
what I
benefit. Like, if you look at Sanderson's his outline for the next couple of years, there's not a whole lot on it. And that could be a good thing if it makes him, like, instead of just cranking out book after book after book, if he could have some time to be a little bit more spontaneous or write stuff and not publish it, or like that could really help what comes next to be better.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Hopefully he doesn't spend it all writing screenplays that go nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so he wrote the screenplay for the novella.
He wrote one for something. I think that was the one.
Wow. That's so funny because I just read an article where he's like, they shouldn't have let J.K. Rowling write the scripts for like the American version of Harry Potter, what are those called? Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and all that. He's like, they shouldn't have let her write those. Just because you're great in one area doesn't mean you're going to be good at writing in all genres. And I was like, that's true. So I didn't expect him to be like, and I'm going to write my own screenplay.
Well, it's funny because he actually commented that he's not sure if it would actually make for a good television show or not the way he wrote it.
Ah, interesting. Maybe he said that about J.K. Rowling in hindsight after trying his own hand at it.
Maybe.
Well, I suspect that I think part of it, and honestly, if this is the case, it's a good thing. But I think he might have. I think he's probably seen like things like the last season of Game of Thrones or reactions to Wheel of Time and things. And he might be thinking, I'm gonna keep a lot of creative control over this whole process, and so we're not doing it unless we can do it my way. And of course, that's going to make it much harder to sell versus if he just signed away the rights,
Right.
like with The Witcher or whatever. Because the author, my understanding is the author of The Witcher doesn't really care about the video games or the TV show. He sold the rights, but he considers the books his thing, and so he's not attached. Although honestly, I think the video games are very well done, but apparently the author has commented he doesn't really care about them.
That's interesting, though. That's kind of like Percy Jackson. The movies were not great.
Yeah.
And then Rick Riordan was super involved in the TV show, and I thought the TV show did a really good job.
Yeah.
I think author input is a really good thing.
Yeah.
But maybe not author writing the screenplay.
Yeah.
Especially if there are people who are coming to watch it because they're fans of the book. You want to make sure that you're keeping the same spirit and overall plot of the books. Otherwise, people are just going to be mad.
Yeah.
Well, I always, and I think I'm sure I've heard somebody else say this, but if you're going to change a lot, then just like save a ton of money and anguish and just come up with your own story. Like if you really want to just tell your own story, you don't just change the names of the characters and the setting, name of the planet or world or whatever, and then just have your story. And then everybody will just accept it or not as its own thing, and you don't have to pay $1 billion to some guy to license. And I guess the name recognition, they're counting on that to get people in, and that'll get people in for the first episode. But if you tick everybody off, it's like, is it even, it'll actually, you might have gotten a better reception if you just made it your own original story.
Yeah.
And granted, you would have had to have grown it more from word of mouth, but you can put ads on TV or whatever. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Like the video game, I haven't played most of them, but like the Dragon Age video games, I've played like half of the first one. And it struck me that the world is very richly built. And from what I understand of it, EA basically, they wanted their own sort of Witcher, sort of like a world like that. But they didn't want to have to pay somebody $1 billion to license all the rights. And so they just said, well, we'll just from scratch just create this whole completely original story. And they, at least in the first game, they seem to have done an amazing job with it. I've heard the later ones have some issues, but
Yeah. That makes sense, though, honestly.
Tiffany, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, like, it feels a lot of times like there isn't that much originality in a lot of movies because it's like everything's based on a book, but then they change so much about it that it's like, well, why didn't you just write your own story? Like, you basically piggybacked and, like, just took half of it for the name recognition, like you were saying, Rich, and then just kind of did your own thing.
Sometimes I wonder if it's just a money job security thing. Like you're more likely to get, like, the executives will just assume it's going to be successful because of name recognition, and so your project won't get canceled because it's got all these, these names attached to it, and it's a New York Times bestseller, this, that, whatever. And that's why they do it. Whereas if they had to pitch it as an original idea, it'd be harder to get executives to have faith in it.
That could be, yeah.
Especially like in fantasy or whatever, like, I don't know. But, and then of course, like TV, like, cause the budgets, especially on movies, have gotten so large that nobody wants to take any risks. But, you don't have to make the budget astronomical. Like, honestly, I think a lot of people, okay, the special effects are nice, but the story is, like, I think way more important.
I agree.
Agreed.
100%.
The story and not cheesy acting.
I mean, special effects budget on this thing is $0. And I'm enjoying it, so.
There you go.
Executive producer role, yeah. Well, should we do another sprint?
Yeah, let's do it. I finished the
Right.
prologue, so my brain can be done
Yes.
exploding. Not really. There's more explosions to come, I'm sure.
Should we do another half
Have
an
your
hour?
rag handy to clean the lens.
I'm bringing a towel or something.
Alright. Is half an hour okay?
Sounds great.
Sure.
Sweet. Let's do it.
All right, excellent. I'm interested to hear what happens with the penguins.
Yes.
Yes.
We're on the edge of our seats, Mimi.
Yes. Let us know too what you're reading, Mimi. Welcome back. Wow, Tony, that's so cool.
Ooh, that's impressive.
I know you were trying to do it by the end of the year, so well done.
That's the big history of the Russian Revolution book, right?
Yes.
Man.
That's fantastic. How was the second half? Was it good? How did you do, Rich?
My head's exploding.
You didn't even turn off your camera, I don't think.
No. It's good. It's just a lot going on. There's just so much in this book that kind of recontextualizes a lot of stuff in the series. Interesting.
That is
As Tiffany is probably already starting to see.
Yeah. Yes. I got through chapter 3, so slowly working my way. But the chapters so far are really short, so I'm guessing they get longer as you go.
No, they're all short. There are a lot of chapters that are very short.
Okay.
And a lot that are really long.
Yeah.
The prologue is about as long as any chapter. It's probably it might be the longest chapter. Maybe I saw one chapter that was as long as the prologue.
Okay. Yeah, because the ones that I've read aren't super long. Like, I guess I've probably 20 pages for 3 chapters or something like that. So it's really not that bad.
Yeah, it's a lot of on the audiobook, there's a lot of 10-minute chapters. Most are more like 20 to 30, but
okay. That gives context.
How are you liking the next chapters, Tiffany?
So far, so good. Not very much has happened. We're just kind of reestablishing where people are. It's just been Shallan and Kaladin's perspective so far, just kind of where they are and reviewing the setup of the end of Oathbringer, basically.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's good to know. So on the next reread, I can start with the 5th book.
This book is it drops right into action and everything, though. It's you don't have to wait. It doesn't plot along.
Yeah, I'm not feeling like it's dragging or anything. It's actually kind of nice because I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yep, this is where we are. Okay, yep. Like I said, I'm only 3 chapters in, so my head isn't exploded yet. Only during the prologue a little bit. The first 3 chapters have been okay.
I cut Stephanie off. Were you saying something? Do you remember?
No, I just said I think I'm looking forward to it because I know in our Cosmere Along Voxer group, the more they got into it, Angela and Roger were back and forth, discussing theories and stuff. And I'm like, this is going to be so much, but so good.
That's exciting. Yeah. And how's the Hobbit going?
Good. We just got past the trolls. So we're just having a cozy little time.
You're flying.
Yeah.
It's funny. You going to the back and forth with theories, and then going into we got past the trolls. I'm immediately thinking internet comments thread and not, the Hobbit.
Took you a second to reacclimate yourself.
Gotcha.
Very different books.
Yeah. What about you, Christy?
Let's see, what chapter am I in? I think I read a chapter and a half for the first sprint, and then for the second one, I think I'm in chapter 61 now, so I read about another chapter and a half.
Nice.
And I couldn't remember what the part 2 and part 3 epigraphs were, so I looked up using the time machine. I looked at the Coppermind before Wind and Truth was released, so that I could check. Okay, what are the Oathbringer epigraphs?
I love that they do that.
I do too. That's so helpful.
Because I think There's an app for Wheel of Time, and they did that too. You could put the book that you were up to, and it would keep spoilers for future books out, which was so nice.
God bless the people who do that kind of stuff.
I
For
know.
real.
They're doing the Lord's work.
Yes.
Alright. Hey, that's impressive.
Ooh,
Nice.
Finally.
Look at that multitasking.
I love it.
Yeah.
Reorganizing is dedication. That's hard work.
It really is.
No matter how many books you have. Man.
I'm about due to do that. Always after Christmas. I'm like, all right, reorganize.
I keep thinking I should do a bookshelf tour because I reorganized my shelves finally,
Oh, you
and I'm
should.
so happy.
You should.
Do it. Do it.
I want to, but I have like 50 videos recorded and not edited. Not
You
50,
can
but
do
like
unedited though, because I know.
Yeah, but Chris,
Oh no, I was just gonna say for Kate's Patreon, she did that one year. She just did unedited bookshelf tour, and it didn't bother me her shuffling through books. I just wanted to see what was on her shelf.
All the
Okay.
book lovers don't care. They're
Yeah,
like,
they just want to see what you have.
got.
Christy, it'll also, you can always look back at that video and remember, once upon a time the shelf was clean and organized. So you want to film it now while it looks good.
Absolutely.
That's
True. Good point. It won't look this way forever. I do know that. I had a whole shelf for Brandon Sanderson, and now with Wind and Truth, I'm already going to have to reorganize that shelf because there's not enough room for it.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
I feel like Brandon Sanderson's almost to the point where he needs his own entire bookshelf.
Yeah,
He's getting there, yeah.
definitely.
I don't own everything he's written, but I still have he's on multiple shelves.
Mm-hmm.
And they go this way and then they're stacked vertically too. And it's on the top shelf so I can stack them pretty high. I've got Stormlight stacked vertically.
I still need to buy all the secret projects physically, and I just reorganized my bookshelves to fit what I have. And I'm gonna have to reorganize if I buy all of those.
I only have one of his secret projects. And it's not even the one I've read.
It's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I put room in when I organized for extra books, but I didn't think about his books. I did normal sized books.
Yeah, well, his aren't normal size books.
So that was not a good thought on my part looking back.
Did you guys see Victoria's? I don't remember if it was a story or if it was an actual post on Instagram when she got Wind and Truth and she put it on a brick wall or something, and she's like, just a brick on some bricks, and I was like, that's post.
Genius.
Because I'm wishing I had gotten the Kindle version because I'm like, man, I'm not reading this in bed.
But the Kindle version was so expensive.
No, and I already pre-ordered the other one.
Because normally I buy both, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
It's huge, but...
For not having any paper, it's awfully expensive.
Yeah. It really is.
For nothing.
So I may cave and buy it because we'll see. I have a couple library cards, so I'm hoping one of them will come through soon.
Mine, I have 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's not bad. I won't be done with Wind and Truth in 4 weeks. Guarantee you. It takes me at least 6 weeks to get through a Stormlight book. Usually more like 8. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
That's a good point.
I didn't have my sticky notes with me this last sprint, and I need to grab them, actually.
I've seen your exclamatory annotations.
Oh.
What? No!
Yes.
I
looked down and that startled me.
You're like, what happened? It was like a jump scare.
Oh,
It's like I
my
look down for
audiobook.
a second and all chaos breaks loose.
the cat's
Suddenly my
okay.
audiobook just started playing. I don't know, that was kind of
That
weird.
started me too. That was
I
hilarious.
remember that. That was so funny.
Because my audiobook was playing and I was like, what happened?
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. These sprints will keep you awake.
Oh my gosh.
Excuse me, I have a cold, so I have to keep muting to like.
Oh, you're good.
Yes.
Oh, by the
Tis
way,
the
Mimi, that's
season.
my dog Dexter. You were asking. So that's Dexter, our yellow lab. We also have a pit bull named Gus, but he doesn't move around much because he's 11. He likes to sleep.
Yeah.
But Dexter moves around a lot. You always see him in the background when I'm doing sprints or any live. He likes to get on these steps because he can see out the window, see what's happening.
Yeah. I loved at one point there was a cat on the steps, and Dexter kept going to the steps like, excuse me.
Well, they play together. The two of them love each other. They wrestle.
Aww.
So it's the only cat that actually likes Dexter. Our other cats all hate him. Because he is like, he sticks his nose in everybody's business, literally. And they're like, go away. I jokingly say that his love language is physical touch because he needs to be touching someone at all times. And the cats are like, no, thank you. Except for Winston. Winston loves
He's
him.
like, I just want to love you.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor guy.
Grandpa Pitt, yes. Gus is Grandpa Pitt. You might be able to hear him snoring in the background, actually, because sometimes you can hear him in videos or in like live. Sometimes you can hear him snoring because he snores like an old man.
I love Gus's facial expressions. He just always looks so over it.
He probably is. He's 11. He probably is. But he's always acted like that, even when he was a puppy. He would sleep on the couch all day when he was like 6 months old. And I'm like, I don't think this is normal. He's always been like the most low key dog.
Yeah.
Let me hit some of these comments. That is interesting. That he and not
I
Stalin.
did find that interesting.
Huh.
That I believe that he would do that. Yeah. And hence Stalin takes him out later.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't follow a lot of the USSR politics closely, but that seems very much like the sort of thing.
They all try to be like Lenin's true heir. I could be wrong, but I feel like even the current president still does that. I feel like he wants to be the heir of Lenin still.
She's reading Gone with the Wind. In case you're wondering.
Oh, yeah.
Whiplash.
Talking about that earlier today.
I still haven't read that book. I've seen the movie multiple times.
I DNF'd it halfway through. I finally just had enough. I couldn't do it.
I can't see myself really enjoying that book as much.
It's not enjoyable, I don't think. Like, it's very dramatic, but there's just pretty much everyone is unlikable.
I mean, the movie.
Which some people like
the
leaning
same
into
way.
that, but
Yeah.
but I'm not.
That's my mom's favorite movie, so I've seen it multiple times,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, this is so much drama.
It is.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was like really compelling, but overall I would never want to read it ever again.
The writing's beautiful. Like, I will give her that. But that wasn't enough to keep me. I was like, I want to punch everyone. Bye. I can't do 1,000 pages of this.
Yeah, there's a line where it becomes unbearable.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing people's reaction to that book because there are people who are like, I just admire Scarlett so much. She's so tough and just really bounces back. And I'm like, I guess that's one way to put it. Like, she creates the difficulties though. So
My favorite thing that ever came out of that was the Carol Burnett skit when she the curtains with the curtain. That was hilarious.
I need to see that.
I'll send it to you.
Please do.
Really funny. You sent it to me one time. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
Penny, I'm sorry to offend you. Penny loves Gone in the Wind.
Really? I'm
So-
still here with me.
And I know that Penny loves drama in books. So I do
We're-
sometimes,
We're
but I like a
happy that you
purpose.
love
A purpose to the drama.
it.
Rather
Yeah.
than drama for drama's sake.
I think because it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it was a smaller book or
Yeah.
a shorter movie.
Yeah. Well, Tony said that like it's like Wuthering Heights, but 3 times the pages.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a
So,
good
yeah,
point.
if it had been shorter, I think I definitely would have finished it and I wouldn't have had the same qualms with it. But I was supposed to read it with people and I
Yeah.
didn't even want to read it. Someone convinced me to read it with them and then they all dropped out and none of them even started it. And halfway through, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Never
I
mind.
haven't even thought about Wuthering Heights. I love that book. Just
Also, very unlikable
embarrassing.
characters.
Yeah, that's true. And all spoiled.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, good. Then
For our entertainment, Penny said.
honestly, while reading it, I was really enjoying it. It was the ending that I was like, okay, and I'm never reading this again. And then also, it didn't age well in certain ways. In my
Oh, it
opinion.
definitely didn't. No.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
It is still like there's still merit to it, I think. Like I remember reading a North Korean read it, and his impression was, oh my gosh, America had a civil war too. Because for him, the civil war between the North and the South of Korea, it was like, wow, so we're not alone. It was like smuggled into North Korea, and he read it.
Interesting.
It can
that is interesting.
it can be impactful depending on who you are.
I don't think it's a terrible book. It just was not for me. I think the writing is amazing and I get why people do like it. It just was not a book for me.
And maybe if I didn't grow up with it, I might have liked it more. It's
I
not
didn't
really
grow up in the South. I'm a Yankee. I grew up in New England.
well, and I mean, like, grow up watching it too. But yeah, it's just not my favorite.
Yeah. I still haven't seen the movie. I've had so many people tell me, you should watch the movie. And I was like, when I just told you
It's got an
didn't like the book?
intermission. That's how long it is.
Yeah, I know it does. It was like a two VHS set back in the day, right?
I think it's worth watching once, just so you have the context. But I don't. If I had to sit down, it would be a choice.
See, I almost never watch movies anyway. I can't commit to sit down and watch something for 2 hours. I'm like, I don't know. So like something like that, I'm like, okay, well, if I can't even watch the movies I'm interested in, I'm probably not ever going to watch that one.
If you're gonna watch a movie with an intermission, at least watch Gettysburg or something.
Or My Fair Lady. My Fair Lady has an intermission.
I love
Fabulous
My Fair
movie.
Lady. I did grow up with My Fair Lady.
Love that movie.
And
one
Sound
does
of
not
Music?
feel for me. Yes.
Yes, Sound of Music. That's the one I grew up with. I love that.
Too. Camelot.
Great. I was going back over the comments. But
Yeah,
I think
we derailed, guys. Sorry.
no, I think a lot of it was from past conversations, so we'll just stay current.
I mean, that makes sense.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I feel like it's useful to like we're still talking about Gone with the Wind, to kind of hear the narrative about the Confederacy, because I think it's still relevant, you know, to hear that perspective, because it's still being espoused. You know, people still like have Confederate flags, and so it's good to know about, even if it's like cringe, a lot of cringing.
No, it's definitely good. I mean, there's still sundown towns in the South and like all sorts of stuff. So I think it's good to watch once, like you said, to know the history.
Exactly. To know what people say in their own defense too, because some people find it like convincing, I guess I would say. And it's good to know why you don't, or if you do find it convincing, that's good to think through.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I think that's a nice thing about opposing viewpoints is sometimes you would at the very least understand where someone else is coming from. I love this comment.
sorry, Tiffany, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. You
I'm
understand
sorry, I
someone
have to
else's
screenshot this.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
What were you saying, Tiffany? I'm sorry.
It was something more serious too. I was going to say, at the very least, you understand someone else's viewpoint, although sometimes you can be convinced from someone else. But it also like helps you really solidify what you think about anything by listening to someone else who doesn't agree with you, whether they sway you or not. It really solidifies you in your own beliefs and thoughts about things because you're thinking more deeply about it from different angles. So I think it's always good to consume things that are from a different perspective than what you might have.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it polarizes your view against it. Reading something from somebody's perspective.
Yeah,
like,
it solidifies where you already were sometimes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whatever I am, I know it's not that. It's the opposite.
I just almost came out. I know it's not that. Whatever it is, it's not that. Oh.
It's like North and South. The John Jakes one is kind of the same. It was good to watch once. I don't remember if that was a movie or a made-for-TV movie.
I don't know.
Really?
But I think it had Patrick Swayze in it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I grew up watching that too.
I love how
That's
now
right.
we're talking about all the movies that have intermissions. Lawrence of
Yeah.
Arabia, The Right Stuff.
Yeah.
So I just remember all of those, really long movies, and whenever they'd adapt them to TV, they'd always like the commercial breaks would start out to be like there was a commercial break every 10 minutes, and it was 2 minutes long like normal. But by the time you got like 2/3 way through the movie, now there's 2 minutes to show, and then 10 minutes of commercial break, and then another 2, because they figure at this point you're committed. And so they're gonna like the last 10 minutes of the movie is like an hour and a half. It's like, that used to be a thing. I used to remember like this time of year it would be like Jesus of Nazareth or something was always it'll be like 4 days in a row or something stretched out over with so many commercials.
They're like, surely someone's got to go to the bathroom by now, so we got to make this break longer.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, the
that's
Ten
right.
Commandment, but that would be shown like at Easter time with Passover or whatever, but the same thing. Like all those, Cecil B. DeMille, 60s or 50s movies.
I think they were. Maybe.
What
Thank you. Yes, miniseries. I was reading Emily's comment.
I thought you were talking about Elizabeth Gaskell.
Yeah.
I was like, Patrick Swayze and Elizabeth Gaskell thing?
No, because I didn't know about the Elizabeth Gaskell thing until a couple years ago. I always thought it was the Confederate North and South.
Whoa.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This is a side note to something that I think has already passed, but I heard that Brits blame Americans for ruining tea because we started using tea bags in a certain kind of tea so that we could make tea in the commercial break between shows. Like the show goes to commercial break, everybody runs in the kitchen to make their tea. And so we have like cheap tea. It's not as good now.
That's hilarious.
Can you confirm, Tony? I don't know.
Yes, very much no.
I mean, I am not a tea expert. I did have a boss who was British, and I remember spending he had education on lots of elements of British culture during staff meetings, and tea was definitely he had very strong opinions on how to make the tea, and the tea being strong was definitely one of those strong opinions. You extract tea, and steep it. You do not, sort of just dip it and be done.
Yeah, like no flavor.
As somebody who had a chemistry background, I could appreciate everything everything he was saying.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's usually loose. Okay.
I love loose leaf
Yeah,
tea.
exactly.
It's so much better.
Yeah, well, that's because if it's the same thing with coffee with a French press or something. You can get better extraction because you maximize the contact area between the solution and the solid phase, and then you strain it out, or you pour it through a strainer or whatever they do.
Oh, that's so true,
Warm
especially at
water.
hotels.
Yes, the water temperature makes all the difference.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was the other thing. It's like first you boil a pot of water, and pour it into your tea kettle and let it sit for a minute, and that's just to heat up the tea kettle. Then you have another pot of boiling water, you dump that out, and then you pour another one in there, and you use that to steep the tea. Because the water's got to be just completely hot.
I just use a tea kettle.
Yeah, me too.
But the people who say the microwave is the same, it is not.
Those are probably the same people who microwave a cup of coffee.
They
Trash.
said that to me one day at work, and I'm like, it's not the same. That's why I don't have tea at work. There's no kettle.
Oh,
BYOK. Bring your own kettle.
Yeah.
Tiffany, we should go in on an electric kettle for Stephanie to bring to work.
Mhm.
Well, I work from home 4 days now. I have a kettle. I can go one day without tea.
Yes, that's awesome. Okay, that is very cool.
We do have a good coffee maker, so it made up for it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Agreed.
Exactly.
As an American, I'm appalled by that. So I can only imagine how appalled you are.
No, there's this guy on Instagram. It's he's British, and he's the one that's always like, "I beg your pardon," and somebody microwaved tea, and he's like, "Oh no, I beg your pardon. Don't do it. Don't do it." And then they poured bottled water in too, and it was just like, this has to be for clicks. It's so
Rage
wrong.
baiting.
But his reaction was just amazing.
That's as bad as throwing it in the
Throwing it
sea,
into
Tony
the
said.
sea.
It's like the Uncle Roger.
Oh,
I love all the
Okay,
strong
I'm dead.
opinions. That's hilarious.
That's how we Americans make tea.
Yeah.
At least in
It's like-
Boston.
yeah.
oh my gosh, I just had to explain the Boston Tea Party to my person that I'm tutoring, and she didn't grow up in America. So when I said Boston Tea Party, she was picturing something very different. And
Oh, I
when
bet.
she was like, "What is this crazy history? Like, this is
Oh,
not a
that-
tea party."
But you then have to explain tarring and feathering after that.
Oh,
We didn't get there. We were stuck on, this is not a tea party. Why would you call it a tea party?
Let's talk about the people whose faces are on our money.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
It's interesting seeing history from her perspective.
Wow.
But yeah.
I have an electric kettle.
I do too.
So
I love it.
We have a regular kettle.
I actually
Yeah,
kind of miss
that's-
having a regular kettle because they whistle and the electric ones don't, or at least mine doesn't.
Yeah, but mine lights up, so then like when it's ready, the lights go off.
God
So
bless
it still
you,
has a
Tony.
little indicator. It's
Yeah.
kind of sci-fi-esque,
Nice.
That is cool.
Fancy.
but it
Yeah,
is
that's a good point about the power. Half the, I mean, I don't know what the amperage of a typical UK circuit is, but of course, double the voltage, you get double the power
Mm.
for the same gauge wire.
Well, should we do another sprint, or how are you guys doing on time?
I'm good to do another sprint. My day is free.
Sweet.
Plenty of wind and truth to go.
Yep.
Okay.
I got lots. I had it open and I ran to the kitchen to get a cup of coffee. And I was like to Claire, I'm like, man, I thought I had made a little bit of progress, and then I see it like this. No, I didn't. I thought reading 40 pages was like, oh, I've done something, and then it's like, no.
You fool. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's so fun. I
Ooh,
love it.
Sounds lovely.
that's
Way
a
more fun than
fun
the last
idea. I like it.
Yeah, Lockster.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at a 3D printer project, and I realized it would require me to run another circuit to have enough power to run it. So, and I was gonna might as well do it at 240 because then it's just so much easier to do stuff at 240 because half the gauge.
Mm.
Why do we do 120 here instead of 240?
Well, I mean, the U.S. was one of, I mean, to be fair, countries that were like at the early edges of deploying electricity. I mean, there was a time when different cities had different voltage, like different electric grids at different frequencies. And gosh, Japan today still has, I think, two different electric grids. Because I think half of Japan is 50 hertz and half is 60 hertz. And it's just,
Wow.
you get these sort of legacy decisions, and there was no one right way to do it. Once upon a time, and then things kind of standardized, but of course you end up with more than one standard. Gosh, even like EV charger connectors, you now have like 2 or 3 standards floating around the world, again, because everybody built a lot of cars, and then various governments started enacting standards so they could roll out chargers, and they didn't all pick the same one. So, go figure.
Interesting. Huh. That is fascinating. I know. They taught it to me. My generation was taught the metric system, but then nobody used it, and I totally
Same.
forgot it.
Yeah.
Same.
Well,
Yeah,
the
the
US,
conversion's not in my head anymore.
No.
Wasn't
the
it?
US
Was it
officially uses
Eisenhower
metric. It's
that
just
tried
not
to
on.
introduce it?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, wasn't it Eisenhower that tried to introduce it, and then it just never caught on?
Well, legally, the U.S. uses metric for a lot of stuff. It's only like consumer late, basically all the stuff that ordinary people see is. But like if you go to import 30 tons of grain or something in the United States, they're going to want to have that reported in kilograms
Right.
or metric tons. Not the U.S. government doesn't internally use imperial units for anything. And as far as electric outlets, like the 240 volts, 50 hertz is pretty much the most common thing worldwide, but the outlet shapes do vary quite a bit. So now the advantage is that it's just a little adapter you need to change the way the pins work, but a lot of countries still vary in how the outlets look, as I recall.
Interesting.
That is very
I love how.
Zapped.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, okay.
I was just gonna say I love that Mimi has all the conversions in the comments.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
All of it. There's like 3 of them.
I love it.
Anyway, go ahead.
Well,
Rich,
I
sorry.
studied chemistry, so I can appreciate metric. It's just so much easier.
It's so much easier.
And then we still get the programmers that all want to use base 2 for a kilo is 1,024, and then somebody had the brilliant idea to call it a kibit instead, and the programmers all are up in revolt because kilo can't be 1,000 like it is for everything else. I'm sorry, soapboxing.
I don't blame you. That's just annoying.
Hey, don't you use stone for weight over there still or something?
I've heard people say that still.
Yeah, me too.
I have to.
But I
don't
wonder
know how
if
much
that's
that is.
like colloquial.
It could have been in books. It could have been in like Victorian books or something.
No, I've heard some people say it recently, like random people that come up talking about like, I don't know, like weight loss or something, and they lost however many stones.
I've lost this many stones.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
I know.
Somebody had too much black tea.
And they're getting kidney stones.
Emily made a comment.
Yep. Okay, Tony uses stone as default.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a
Oh,
U.S. hospital, you're going to see metric pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
that's a
Maybe
good
weights
point.
would be recorded in pounds, but any
That's
kind
true.
of
My
dosing of
medicines are
anything, it's all
in metric.
milligrams, grams, milliliters. Nobody uses. I mean, you think about the number of you're making somebody's IV bag or whatever. Would you want to have to deal with ounces and pints? Yeah.
I feel like it's more precise too, than like inches and like doing like
Yeah.
centimeters
You
and
can always
millimeters
use,
is more precise.
avoirdupois, drams, and
Mhm.
there's they say about non-metric units is that there's about 30 of them for everything. So there's big ones you can you got ergs and
Shall we start reading?
We shall. How many times have you redone that banner, Christy?
I think twice.
3?
But it's my fault. I
Sorry.
asked the question.
how many cent hours shall we read for?
Santa hour. It sounds like Santa
That's
hours when you
that's
say it,
the
and it's
one
almost
thing that is
Christmas.
not metric anywhere is time.
Yes.
The one thing I
True.
realize this.
Maybe that can catch on for you in 2025.
Yeah, we could be using kiloseconds, right?
You know what's wild about telling time in Korean is the hour the hour time uses Korean numbers and the minutes of the hour are in Sino-Korean
Really?
numbers. Yeah. So they tell time the first number in Korean numbers and the second number in Sino-Korean numbers. So you have to remember what all the numbers are.
Wow.
It's a
It's a
challenge.
lot because Claire and I just learned Sino-Korean numbers.
Yeah. You'll get used to it eventually because you'll just hear people saying, oh, it's 3 o'clock or whatever. And you're like, oh, yeah, right. They use Korean numbers for the hour. But
Yeah,
it takes time to get used to it.
it's interesting. It's something to look forward to for Claire and I.
Yeah, fun. Don't worry about it. It'll
Hanal
be
set is the Korean numbers, and that's not the Sino-Korean numbers. So when we start
At least
learning
you
numbers,
know
we're
that.
like, this is not Hanal set.
Yeah.
Locks are so easy to remember. 16 ounces in a pound, 14 pounds in a stone.
Simple. So easy. Oh,
All
That's
right.
exciting.
Let's do it. Oh, we'll talk about it when we come back. I keep remembering things and making comments. We'll talk about it when
I have to keep
More
remaking the banner.
tangents than
this is the
Annabelle.
fourth banner.
Yeah. I don't really care. It's easy to redo, but we'll talk. I wanted to talk about if anybody is switching, but we'll talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
All right.
Happy reading, finally.
We did it. Come back. Oh, I feel like you guys were like right there in front of the screen because you instantly came back. It's hard to tell though. The camera's off, so I'm like, is it gonna take them a minute? Are they off in the kitchen getting a snack?
Right.
I try to keep an eye on the time so that way I can be close to the computer when.
Smart. Let's see. How did everybody do? How about you, Rich?
I'm doing well. I finished another part,
Awesome.
and now I'm in an interlude that has me diving into the copper mine to try to remember what happened in other books.
Wow, yes.
Nice.
Research.
I feel like I already need to restart because it's been like a year since I started reading them and I'm already losing track of things.
You need to watch the Bookborn video where she reviews all four, like she does like a recap of all 4 books. And
Mhm.
that was so helpful to me because I finished Rhythm of War in February. And so I was like, okay, I need a little bit of a refresher. I might still need the Copper Mines too, but like basic plot points that I might have forgotten. So
Yeah. Well, I had to look up Copper Mine for a different series.
Okay.
Because I saw a name that was very obviously out of place.
okay.
Mm.
Fun. Which day are you through, Rich?
I just finished day 6.
Okay.
I'm on the interlude.
Okay.
I'm looking for
And I
that
actually
video.
don't feel bad because the Copper Mine does have some connections already in it before this book, but looking at it, it looks like the only way anybody knew about it is because of book signing comments.
Oh.
There are apparently clues in one of the one of the interludes, but it's like the sort of thing you'd never get. I don't think even Stacy didn't get this one.
Her predictions amaze me. I'm like, how? I never guess anything right.
Right.
Yeah, apparently there's the vaguest glimmer of a hint in Wave Kings, but
And that was a while ago.
I find Brandon Sanderson very difficult to predict. So I was really amazed when Tiffany like guessed to the ending of one of the Mistborn books. I was like, wow.
No one was
That was
more surprised than me. It's the only time that's ever happened.
yeah, well, you have like these occasional epigraphs or like interludes where it's clear that somebody is sort of out of place doing something, but you know, it would only be from a book signing that you find out, oh, this is this person that you'd actually would know if there had been any hints whatsoever as to who it actually was.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, good for you, Emily. You're really paying attention to the epigraphs. I didn't realize how important they were for a while. And that was on me. I wasn't used to reading books where the epigraphs were that important.
I know. That was my first series with him, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. Now I know better, but
You couldn't tell from the book cover?
No.
It was very clear.
I've seen a book cover with Vin and Ellen on it, and the Hero of Ages. And
I
that
think
is
we talked about that.
I was like, oh, could it be
the
Ellen
biggest
instead of
trolling
Vin?
book cover.
I have reached another Mistborn crossover in Win and Truth. So, well, it's really just a name drop. That's all. But still, I love it.
Yet another one?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. 2 so
it's
far.
really paying off.
Yeah, well, especially reading. This is where it was helpful because I went straight from the Lost Metal to the preview chapters, which is basically the first 2 days
Okay.
of was the first day first I think it was the first 2 days of this book were released as preview chapters.
Yeah.
And those connections are very obvious when you're reading those two like in close proximity.
Yeah, so it's actually very fun. Because
Oh
of that,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
no, I have
oh,
to thank you.
I'm not confused.
Yeah, I got invited to just the right read-alongs.
Yeah. No.
How did you guys do? I don't think I even asked you.
I'm
How'd
like
you do?
60 pages in now, so I've finished the first 5 chapters. So.
Well done.
Love the chapter. There's a chapter with Wit in it, and I love it. It's my favorite chapter so far because I really like Wit. But
Nice.
I think I'm almost to chapter 4. I got a little distracted last sprint, so I'm just enjoying the cozy ride.
yeah.
Good. I'm so glad. I know that's what these sprints needed to be, was ultra cozy.
And the beginning chapters are longer in The Hobbit. I realized that when I was scheduling out for my British class, and I scheduled it out over 3 weeks, that we read like the last half of the book, like the last week, or the last, not really the half of the book, but the last half of the chapters, because like 10 through 19 were much shorter chapters than the first 10 chapters.
Good. Yeah, and then my book, the illustrated edition, it's got like a forward, it's got an illustrator's forward, it's got like, so it looks like I'm way farther in than I am.
Every book now does
For
that.
the last sprint.
Mm.
She's just been sitting on my lap this whole time.
A different one.
Yeah, this one's much more content to just sort of sit and not cause quite as much trouble.
I love her.
Sits and purrs.
It's so cute. She has such a cute markings on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her.
Does.
She's so pretty.
She's
like, yes, adore me.
And her little ears, the little tips.
Yeah.
Cute.
She's like, I'm the golden child. Dad just said so.
Yeah.
Yes, well, this is the one my wife wanted to name her Nadirshta, except at the time she couldn't speak, and so she had to try to communicate that to me, and I do not speak Russian.
Oh.
So that was interesting.
Oh, I bet.
Aw. That's funny.
Oh.
You guys ready for the holidays?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like it's next week.
Yeah, well, I just had my stepdaughter had me over for dinner last night, so I'm still recovering from too much food.
It's the season.
Nice.
Nope. I wrapped all my presents yesterday, so I'm completely done. And Peter wrapped my gifts the day before that, which is shocking because he usually doesn't wrap them until Christmas Eve. And I'm like, man, you're ahead of me this year. Right. So we're like really ready. I'm like, I get to like rest the next couple of days.
My mom is bringing up all the wrapping paper tomorrow because she had all her gifts sent here. So I'm just going to wait to wrap. But
that's smart.
I do have all my gifts bought. So I'm excited.
Yay.
Although Amazon did not do a good job of concealing some of these. So I'm like, I've seen some, but I'm going to pretend I don't know what I got.
Yeah.
It'll be a surprise.
Dia told me that if you mark it as a gift, then they'll do a better job of concealing it.
Yeah, so we'll have to do that next year.
I had a gift come for Claire. Actually, I was talking to Stephanie and Dia about this. I'm reading sprints like last weekend. That like it was just literally just the thing shrink wrapped in plastic with a label slapped on it. And I was like,
had something like that yesterday. No, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that to combat package theft. Because I ordered some clothing, and it just literally came in a clear plastic bag with a label on the outside.
so weird.
But because package theft is such a thing, if you know it's something nobody would ever steal, then by having a clear bag, it would basically deter theft.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
No.
good point. I didn't think about that. But
Interesting.
yeah, it was just a weird thing, and it was something like the shrink wrapping was like really thin, and I was like, this could have been destroyed. I'm really glad it wasn't. Ooh, yum.
Yeah, no, this was really flimsy. The other thing is the pack. The clothes. This was, it had free returns like a lot of Amazon clothing, and it didn't, like, there was nothing reusable about this packaging. So if
Yeah.
I had to return it, now granted, I could take it to, there's like an Amazon Fresh store or a Whole Foods, like you can now take them in person. But still, that would be I'd prefer to have the option to mail it.
I usually just go to our UPS store, and they won't. If you bring it in a box, they don't even use your box. They use their own thing. So
Oh,
it's kind of like that doesn't apply for me as much, I guess. So
Yeah.
but, yeah.
I actually would do that when I would sell stuff sometimes on eBay or whatever, because like some places like the FedEx store, I think it was, if you have them package it, then essentially you get a receipt, and now you are end to end, because they can't claim that it, like, it was like selling like your cell phone or something like that. They can't claim that it was incorrectly packaged because they were the ones who
Oh
did it.
yeah, that's actually smart.
Yeah, so it's kind of my, you know, I get a receipt or take a picture of it, as they hand it to the guy or whatever, and it's like, okay, now it's your problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Mimi, what you're saying with Whole Foods is exactly what UPS stores do too. It's just like you don't box it, they won't take your box, even if you bring it in a box. So
Yeah, there's lots of, there happens to be a Staples right around the corner from me, and I don't think they'll do the gift service thing there, but they are a UPS drop off place, so it's just
okay,
super convenient to
that
just
is
go there.
convenient. Man, Emily, you really have had a hard time with the truth and your Kindle Fire.
Oh no.
Mhm.
What a mess.
Apparently it's sunset. Or approaching sunset.
I was like, that was very sudden. The sun just went boom. No.
Yeah, I've got my lights programmed that 40 minutes before sunset, it switches to night lighting in the house.
Oh,
But
okay. I
that
was
can,
wondering why. I was like, that was a really quick change. Thought I was
yeah.
losing my mind for a second there. I'm okay. Everything's fine.
Too much automation. Yeah, and Emily, that's purely conjecture on my part about the, theft thing, but it's just, that's something, that's how my crazy mind thinks.
Yeah. Oh, it is. You're right, Tony. It is the shortest day today. I forgot about that.
Oh, so this is the earliest my lights will turn off on me all year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy winter solstice, everyone.
Oh my goodness.
It
The
shows you what
days will
difference
start
this
getting
is, though.
longer.
I used to get, like, sort of like in the winter, my mood, I'd kind of get, because I live alone, my mood would kind of be down during the winter because it's just so dark and dreary. And so I got this LED light that's like, I mean, it's like, it must like pull like 40 watts, and that's for like an LED light. So this is like sunlight in this office when that thing
Yeah.
is on. It makes such a huge difference. And I'll
Oh, I'm
tell you, I
sure.
highly recommend it. If you even, I mean, I don't have like a mood disorder or what, like some, but I feel like it just, I'm in this office a lot when I'm working, and so it just really brightens up the day.
Was it a sacrifice of tea, Tony? I just want to know.
Oh my god.
I found having like the twinkle lights on the trees, I keep my lights out after Christmas because that really helps with the shorter days for me. And ambient rooms on YouTube. I have one on right now.
I do
I keep
too.
them on constantly. And it helps so much because I really do suffer like very strongly from seasonal depression. And so I find if I try to lean into the coziness of dark days, it doesn't feel as depressing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I feel like this is very appropriate, but I need to go take a nap on the shortest day of the year.
Oh yeah, it's you said we were trying to achieve coziness, Christy.
It's
so
a good day for a nap.
we cozied you up for a nap. Now it's
You
right.
succeeded.
You've been productive. Now you can rest.
Yes.
Thank you.
You've had a busy
I'm
week.
about
You
to
need
fall
some rest.
Hmm.
Gosh.
So we will head out, but thank you all so much for coming. This has been really fun.
Yes.
This was great.
I love doing this.
Me too.
And thank you to everybody who came up here as well and made it fun.
Yeah, everybody makes it fun. It's been great chatting with everybody.
Yes.
Yes, it has. And I finally started Wind and Truth. So I'm happy.
Now I can start checking out your theories on Victoria's Discord
Yes.
or wherever. People are chatting about it everywhere.
Yeah,
so-
they're on mine
They're
too.
really
Like there's some Dia's chatting on mine, I think. And you've chatted
Yeah.
a little bit on mine. So now I can start clicking on some of the spoiler messages and see what everyone doesn't like.
Yeah, I like personally small. I like to be on small little Discords, engaging with 2 or 3 people here or there. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I realize there's some Discord out there with a chat log that just flows like a waterfall, where all the ideas are.
It
But
stresses me
you know,
out so bad.
It's worse than Voxer, right, Stephanie?
It is.
Worse than 1,200 messages on Voxer.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
like watching a Twitch stream or something like
Right.
like some big Twitch stream, like Games That Quit, where the chat just, you know, it's just nothing but emojis just flowing, and it's like, why would I want to watch this?
Exactly. There's a limit.
Mm-hmm.
I need the Neuralink or something to process that. It's just, you know, I don't know what that would do to me.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful time preparing for Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas,
And
everyone.
yes, and get all your packages wrapped, and that there are no more Amazon reveals.
Right.
Or lost packages
Yes.
for poor Emily.
Right.
Good night.
Night.
Tony needs to sleep too.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.